Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aditya, aka EDDY, and let me paint you a mental picture. You're sitting down, it's a beautiful Sunday morning, sipping a cup of coffee, and you're reading the newspaper. And lo and behold, they tell you that there is a new variant of the coronavirus, which is more deadly and more infectious. What's going on? Well, the answer is that the viruses are evolving, and we're going to explore that in this episode. But first, viruses reproduce inside the host cell, and the newly formed virion are partly made of the genes of the virus and the genes of the host cell. This can lead to the formation of a new genotype. Genotype is the genetic information for a particular trait. Many of these new genotypes don't survive, but those that do are more successful than their parental genotypes. And these new successful genotypes can translate into being able to infect a new species or perhaps being resistant to an antiviral drug. There are two ways viruses evolve: mutation and recombination. If there is an error during the protein coding sequence causing a change in the protein encoded, this error is called a mutation. By natural selection, those viruses that survive despite the mutation are the ones that are best fit for survival of the virus. Viruses with DNA genome have less error rates than viruses with the RNA genome. This is why viruses with RNA genomes like the SARS CoV2, the one responsible for this pandemic, evolve so rapidly. The second way viruses evolve is by recombination. So if a host cell is infected with two viruses, recombination is the genetic exchange between the two related viruses. But once again, recombination is more common in viruses with the RNA genome. They mentioned that the pandemic was started when the virus jumped from bats or pangolins to humans. Now, in order for the virus to transmit from one species to another, the virus must evolve either by mutation or by recombination. An example is the mutation of the spike protein on the capsid of the coronavirus. This mutation perhaps permits the virus to infect human hosts. The evolution of viruses can be studied by comparing the genome sequences of various viruses. The relationship between the genome sequences, that is, the similarities and differences, can be portrayed as a phylogenetic tree. Phylogenetic trees, well, they look like trees, and they visually portray the evolutionary relationships between different species of viruses. Starting with the last known ancestor, as the tree expands, we can see variations in the genome in each generation. The sequencing of the genomes can also help in tracing the ancestral strain of the virus. Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please let me know by smashing that like button. And please share this video. This content must be available to everyone. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next episode.